Welcome to What's in the DVD Box podcast. The only podcast asking what is in fact in the DVD box. Introducing your hosts, Jonathan Lind and David Winkler. Now, welcome to the pod. Welcome back to What's in the DVD Box podcast. David, what's in the DVD box this week?
Jonathan, we have the 2005 film Munich, which, as you know, inspired by real events. Munich reveals the intense story of the secret Israeli squad assigned to track down and assassinate the 11 Palestinians believed to have planned the 1972 Munich Massacre of 11 Israeli athletes. And the personal toll this mission and revenge takes on the team and the man who led it. Hailed as tremendously exciting, Steven Spielberg's explosive suspense thriller garnered 5 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Screenplay.
Suspense thriller.
Yes.
David, I have a bit of an idea.
Yeah.
But tell me and tell the listeners, how did this get in the DVD box?
Well, I'm pretty sure I read that description and I said, wait, this is about Mossad agents tracking down and assassinating 11 Palestinians? That sounds cool. What I didn't read about this and had forgot about since I watched this movie 20-something years ago, or less, whatever, is the talk about the personal toll on the mission of revenge. Because in my head, this was going to be like James Bond, Mossad, taking out revenge stuff. That's not exactly what I got, although that is what I remembered from the movie the first time. So interesting how my 18-year-old brain took this movie and was like, yeah, that was cool. Maybe less so on a rewatch. But have you seen this movie before watching it tonight?
Before watching it for this podcast, no, I had not seen it.
Not seen it.
I'd only heard it in passing as one of the Spielberg movies that he made. Which is,
it exists.
I think it is accurate to say that is one of the movies that Spielberg ever made.
Okay.
Yeah. What did you know about this incident before? Because I had heard about Munich 1972 Olympics. I kind of knew vaguely kind of what happened, that there was a terrorist kidnapping, and actually that's about the extent.
Yep. I remembered the kidnapping. Had no idea this happened. So much so that also, having watched this movie, I completely forgot that it happened again until I watched it a second time. So I kind of was like, oh yeah, this is about Israelis killing terrorists. That was me thinking about when I put the DVD in just the other day when I watched this. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay, this is, starting to put it together about like, this is specific to the massacre from the Israeli athletes at the Olympics in 1972. So a lot of me piecing together history and what I remembered from this movie, which it's just an interesting experience to be like 19-year-old Dave, how I experienced this movie. Mm-hmm. I was kind of bad at watching movies. I don't know if anyone's picked this up. Well, I did not know how to watch movies. I was just like, stop whining about how much this is difficult on you. Just go kill them. It's fine.
I think that's the beauty of movies, though, is like you can come back to a movie and art in general.
Art in general.
I mean, even nature. I mean, I have places in my head that I've been multiple times, and those places haven't changed a whole lot, but I have. The things I noticed, how I can see things. Even in my own house, I'll walk through and I'll see things that I'd never seen before. They've been there the whole time. Well, just how my eyes can see different things, not my physical sight, but how my brain is processing, oh, that thing is actually a lot more important now. Like in the instance I'm thinking of, I can identify poison ivy from about a quarter mile away now because I have poison ivy on my property and I've removed a lot of it and a lot of it's come back. In the past, it would be like, gotta get like the app out and get the identifier book. Yeah, I think this might be poison. Now it's just like, wait a second, everybody stop. I think those bushes over there, poison ivy. All that to say,
Well,
the beauty of art, David, is that you can come back and see how you've changed.
That's exciting because I don't know what Poison Ivy looks like, so I can't wait to find it when I shouldn't. So,
well,
fun times.
If you invite me along, I'll be able to spot it for you.
Yeah, sometimes you got to learn for yourself.
Okay.
But so experience of this movie. I realized that Spielberg was trying to be nuanced with it.
Yep.
What I wanted to take from it was just kill terrorists, which I guess kind of makes sense. 18-year-old Dave, not that removed from 9/11, charged in the air. We were still, waging some very, very just war over in the Middle East after this. So I was a little fired up to see the terrorists get him, ignoring the extreme nuance and conflict that everyone is experiencing in this film.
Yep.
And so, but yeah, I definitely took away this time that Spielberg was trying to provide a glimpse into the humanity of both sides, despite the story being told from the Israeli.
Yeah, primarily from the Israeli side.
Would you say that Israelis were still portrayed as the heroes? They were still kind of a protagonist, antagonist, despite some humanity put to it, or does the end kind of ruin that?
I don't necessarily think so. I think it sets up the grounds and how everyone would. I think it sets the grounds up in how the Western audience would expect things to be set up, and I think it uses that framework to then not completely subvert it, but sort of undermine it in a way. One of the thoughts one of the first, or maybe the second killing actually was, actually the first and second killing. Like the first killing is like just a dude with groceries going back to his apartment, to his flat, and then gets shot. And there's like that pause and like the face to face, and it's like, okay, what's going on here? And it kind of makes you pause and like, wait, what are they doing here?
Yeah.
The second one, you're introduced to this guy who's, supposedly, part of the planning, but no one has proof. And they sort of talk about that. Well, he has a wife and a young daughter, and like you see them all interacting, and like you see his sweet daughter, and it's like that character is humanized in a way that like you kind of get the suspense, thriller part of it with that killing, because the daughter goes back in unbeknownst to the team.
Yep.
And then they almost, they abort just in time. They almost kill a young girl.
Yep.
And I think in that aspect, it's like, well, there's still this like, well, hold on, what are we doing here? And then it's even like, is this even right to kill the father who has, a wife and child then?
Yeah.
And so you see them plow forward. So I think there is that, like, so within the framework of, hey, everyone's going to expect the Israelis to be portrayed as the good guys and the Palestinians to be portrayed as the bad guys. It's like, well, okay, then who is this person that seems to be just a business, a Middle Eastern businessman living in Europe?
Yeah.
Like, what does he actually have to do with it?
Yeah. And they for sure do not have to tell the story like that.
Right.
When you're trying to set up antagonists in the story, it could just be a terrorist guy, which they kind of have. Salim, who is like the main guy that they're trying to get, set up to be like kind of not the ultimate baddie, but the one that was like responsible for everything. Like they want to get this guy. You can set that person up as an antagonist, but what they do is by making each kill like messy, like it just doesn't allow, like it makes you think on each one in a way that you probably don't want to.
Yeah.
If they would have walked in, shot the guy with groceries, walked out, cool, throw him away, keep moving the story on, it explains it in a different way. If the kid never shows up and they, like there's a lot about that scene that it's trying to portray that the guy they're killing is just like kind of a family man, right? Like He's not treating. It's not like they're portraying him as treating his family bad.
Right.
He's just a family man. Like I would see.
They could have portrayed him as like slapped his wife, and then his wife's like, "Thank you very much. I'll see you later."
They also could have, I know it's based on true events, but like there were some parts of these killings in real life that didn't go well and like came back bad on Mossad. They could have showed that like the Israelis are bumbling idiots and actually killed the girl, and like messed up. But what it did is it showed that they were running and trying to protect this girl, understanding that there's humanity to the Israelis. So like you get humanity from the Palestinian, you get humanity from the Israelis, right? And so they're trying to like, even from the onset, walk that line where no one's like, it's just a thing that's happening because of course you get revenge. Like you killed our people, we're going to kill your people. Just, this is just what people do, but let's not get too crazy. And they're still blowing up, just setting bombs off all the time, which
you've heard it said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And so therefore that's what they go and do. Okay. What did you think, we first, maybe third of the movie touched on a little bit. Before we go, I want to touch on the safe house. But before we do, a quick detour. The opening montage, a lot of news for the exposition to kind of set the scene. What was your experience of the evening news growing up? Because this had such a like nostalgia of like the Peter Jennings, Dan Rather.
When Peter Jennings popped up there, I was like, oh, Peter. We were an ABC household. I mean, it's just we were. Peter Jennings was staple. And it was like you just kind of gathered around. Like it's really hard to imagine like not having a cell phone and like you got your news. I mean, I guess there was like the internet kind of not when I was real young, but there was just like my parents threw on
the evening news.
You threw on the evening news, and then the local news came right after.
Check the paper in the morning.
I mean, I didn't, but I sure experienced news through Peter Jennings.
For the comics is what I would check the paper for, and the box scores.
My family was poor, so we weren't getting
that's fair.
Newspapers around.
I delivered papers for a time. Not worth it.
My dad delivered papers, and maybe that's why we were poor is maybe not the right word, but we didn't have a paper, and maybe it's because he delivered papers and hated it. So
we didn't want to make someone else go through that.
We were just Peter Jennings. That's how we were experiencing.
So that was like a nostalgia trip. In retrospect, I have no idea, what happened to those guys, what their reputations are now or not. But like the voices. It's like you could narrate just about anything with either of their voices, and it's like
the cadence. It's the cadence that's like the news guy cadence.
The cadence, the like distinct voice,
authority. It conveys authority in our brains. Maybe not our kids' brains or Gen Z or whatever. Like in our brains, it's like, okay, stop, listen to what they said, 100% true. Right. Literally would never have to question anything happening right now, especially when they're like, oh, all the athletes survived. Yep, all the athletes survived. I believe the athletes survived, even though I knew what movie I was about to watch.
No, I forgot about that. I was like, oh wow, okay. I thought a lot of them died. A couple minutes later, oh, they're all dead. I was like, huh. And then, what happened there?
And then, even the way that they like switched it around, they're like, I forgot exactly what he said, but he's basically like, sometimes you hope for good things, sometimes you get bad things. They're all dead.
This is the worst day in the world.
This is like the worst.
They're all dead.
Yeah, they're all dead. You're like, what? Oh, that was a roller coaster, but
which it's a roller coaster because that was not Peter Jennings or Dan Rather. So, okay. So then fast forward back to the safe house incident. We're talking about there's nuance in the conflict of, Israel, Palestine. They get to this safe house, and then David, what was going on?
So are you like,
are you as confused as I am of like, they just pulled guns on each other and then like, we're cool.
We're cool. Yeah, it was confusing. It was a little hard to believe.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, one of these things I completely forgot about in this movie, watching the second time, I was like, oh, what's going to happen here? It's just the idea that like they're just going to be like, oh, that's cool. Let's just all sleep in here together. Pretty wild situation. But it seems to be there only to set up a conversation that they can have between, this Palestinian, like, separatist, extremist person and Eric Bana, who are talking about, the conflict as a whole.
Yeah.
And it's there to kind of like try to give a Palestinian, like voice a Palestinian perspective.
Yeah, I think it is the, writer director's way of like, it struck me as one of those scenes where it's like, okay, I think this is either the writer or the director like talking about their sort of thoughts on the subject, at least to some degree, where it's like, hey, this, like, you believe that and I believe this, and like we're just like, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, and both have at least semblance to their arguments.
So do you think it would have made it, if nothing like that existed in this movie, would it have made the movie feel incomplete? I'm not even talking about the structure in which they went and tried to accomplish this, because honestly, like, I think they probably could have done better, and if it was made today, or if it was like a TV show and they had a little bit more time to flesh it out.
Okay. If I had $1 for every time David's come to me and said, if this movie was a TV show, what episode are we on? We're on episode like 15, 16. I would have $16. You said that for every single episode we've done, David.
Because you have to, like, this is just a thought experiment, Jonathan, where you have to, you have to, like, take the movie you're watching and imagine if we expanded the world and had more time to character build than you clearly care about. And that's what, by saying if it were a TV show, that's all I'm saying. It's a stand-in for... Okay.
It's a thought experiment.
It's a thought experiment of... Obviously. Like, what,
I'm just a big dumb idiot over here. I thought you were like, give me a TV show. Okay.
I would definitely take a TV show.
I'm going to come over there and fight you. I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey 2 episodes in a row. Yeah. Is it incomplete if they don't have the scene? I don't think so. Like, I don't think I'd come away from the movie feeling like, oh man.
If you didn't get the Palestinian.
Really didn't get the other side of the story of this. Probably not, but I wouldn't say the movie is... I think it's better off. I think it makes more the ending. Oh, I've really just fumbled over my words. The ending is better off with this conversation happening.
Yeah.
The ending makes a lot more sense for Avner, Eric Bana's character, to kind of get super paranoid and also demand certain things before he actually came home.
To feel that sense of complication needed some kind of like human grounding touch point of like, here's a person who's, trying to fight for his views and then ends up dead in front of Avner, and he has to like deal with that, visual of like, trying to understand their perspective of their fight. Mm-hmm. They're in a fight for their lives, just like he's in a fight for their lives, with a lot of context behind all of this. Like a lot of history and everything. But that's the humanity that they're trying to build into it. That I think you can't tell the story without. It would be like there is a world. Okay, there is a world where you're just like telling the story with the assassinations without like it's just completely good versus evil.
Yep.
You could do that. I think that's a worse movie. And it isn't it isn't a story about humans, really, if you do that and how we know humans, right? Like him eventually like breaking down and being super conflicted, as all of the team kind of is at one point or another, is just a human reaction. One of which that I did not understand as an 18-year-old. I did not. This in the description on the movie, a personal toll this mission of revenge takes. It's kind of like you almost take. Oh, his toll is just that he's away from his family a little bit. Mm-hmm. That's probably the simple nature that my brain at the time took. That still hits hard now that I have kids, and the understanding of like the idea, like when he was like, the only time I got like, not really choked up, but just like it kind of like hit me was like his daughter saying "Dad," and just like how that broke him. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh yeah, to miss that, to have to miss out on that when you're doing this thing that's like kind of morally confusing in general.
Yeah, especially at that point where he's starting to go down this path of like, what are we even doing here?
Yeah.
To then call home and then realize what he's missing out on, like just takes him further into that place.
Yeah. So I mean, I think you needed the conflict set up, and Spielberg was trying to do that.
Yep.
I think just placing them all in a safe room together is a little silly.
It's a little heavy-handed. Like
there's other ways for them to cross paths. In a cafe. Just kind of a random thing.
Yep.
You could obviously build that more out in a TV show. Obviously,
you can build that out in a movie too.
You could, but you do it more in a TV show.
You just wrote you just wrote the scene. That's probably less screen time than what it was, because you don't have this Mexican standoff of everyone pointing their guns at each other. Like, all right, lower whoa,
and then fighting over a radio,
and then
that was You should be rolling your eyes at that, because it's like
that was.
Oh, they're still going to kill each other over the radio, but a little silly.
So then take it then to the ending, which is sort of, I think you had a great point that the ending is really tied to, that safe house, into that conversation. And then, Avner kind of continuing there. The ending when he's in Manhattan with his family, kind of going crazy. And then his Mossad handler, played by Geoffrey Rush, comes and is talking to him. I want to know what you thought of that, like sort of that final scene where they're walking and he's like, I need to know. Like, what was going through your mind when you're watching this time around?
It felt very hollow from the perspective of the handler. Like, I think I experienced it the first time and being like, Eric Bana is kind of being a baby about this. Like, just deal with it. That was for sure probably how I walked away from this. But like the second time you see, like, just like a natural cynicism of getting older, I think, to be like, as he's learning, like, these guys are kind of like bad guys, but maybe not the guys that like planned all this. Like we kind of told you, like he's kind of like, but you're doing a good thing. Like they completely manipulated the situation. They manipulated Avner, and they're just kind of like, but it's good. Like, you're doing good. Just come home. It's fine. Let's just paper over everything. And it was like the defiance that Eric Bana only defiance he had left was to be like, no, I'm staying. Like, I'm not going back there to deal with you guys, and like the power structure that you're kind of like, I don't know, forced to. Not forced, but we kind of all take for granted a little bit to be like, oh yeah, they're right. Like, we are doing the good. The good thing is killing the terrorists, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, now that I've gotten a little bit older, it's like it's not that simple. Like,
killing is rarely the right answer.
Yeah, killing is rarely the right answer, and he's, the movie sets up this whole dichotomy between him and the team killing people, yet the events being portrayed through like news broadcasts throughout the entire movie is the world's getting worse. Like, they're doing this, they're being successful in their mission, yet nothing on the outside is changing, right? Mm-hmm. It's accomplishing revenge, which we find out is not even as vengeful. Like, it's not even necessarily all the people they want to. Those first couple kills were not about. Like, there's a lot of questions as to how much they were tied into the Olympics, but they were people who were, not great, enemies of Israel, I guess you could say.
Sure.
They just weren't what the original manipulation.
Yeah, it wasn't the original briefing of.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I thought that last scene where they're walking and talking is probably my favorite writing and dialogue in the whole movie. Part of it is you also have it's tying sort of his journey to a close. I thought his questions of hey, you've got to give him, we don't have any evidence that any of these people did anything. Yeah. You had to prove it. And I got I thought Jeffrey Rush did such a good job because it was very much from the viewer's perspective. This guy is just telling Avner whatever he wants, he thinks he wants to hear.
Yeah.
Oh, look, we have stuff. We'll show you. He was involved in this. Maybe not, the Olympics directly, but he was tied to this organization. That it was just
he's just a bad guy.
Come on,
he's just a bad guy.
But from the viewer's perspective, it the scene that was perfect. That's the sort of thing where it's man, that was some really good acting.
Yeah,
that was some really good. Because I truly believe that this handler believed that was going to be enough to just manipulate Avner into coming back in and getting back into the fold. Yeah. And his question at the end, I thought was brilliant. I'll come back. You have to sit down and have a meal with me. Because he knows hey, if we sit down and have a meal, then the relationships change.
Yeah.
And then we've broke bread and there's just something different. And the guy said, nope.
Yeah.
And it's okay, yeah, he's still the handler. Yeah. And that's the only job he has is to bring him back in as Mossad. So to me, that final scene was I was kind of wishy-washy on the whole movie. And I thought that thing tying it together, I thought was that's some really good storytelling.
Yeah.
It is a very muddy film. And I told you this before we started recording. I've sort of decided this is a reverse hero's journey.
Yeah.
Or he
which is less satisfying.
It's not as satisfying as a movie. It's not the thing that's ingrained, and it's disconcerting enough in many places, both in that hey, they almost killed a kid to where they kind of end up going. Not great. And then he just becomes this, hardened agent that's now sleeping in his closet at the end, just paranoid about everything.
Yeah.
And it's a shell of a man that even his, walking in the door to go see his mom's you've changed.
Yeah.
You look bad. And his makeup was his face
he looked bad.
Looked like he had no color in it. He's actually a changed human being. And the message of the movie, I think, was a good message that hey, killing and just perpetuating violence and revenge is actually dehumanizing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not a good thing. So
which 18-year-old Dave did not understand. Emphatically, I completely put that out of my recollection of this movie.
Yeah.
What the one thing I remembered from this movie, which is very much a memory of 18-year-old Dave, is the lady who got killed for being a honeypot.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to go revenge her because she killed one of the team members who was just this random Dutch person. Still wasn't even fully explained on why she killed his friend, but Eric Bana easily could have got by her, and it ended up being one of the other team members. So they had to go kill her, and then she's killed in a messy way, but she's wearing a nightie, and then just completely gets revealed, and they're just kind of screw it, just kill her, leave her there. Mm-hmm. It was such a it was a dehuman. What I could pick up as an 18-year-old watching this was ooh, that made me feel not great. It just sticks with you as a visual of that was pretty ugly. But actual, the heroes, the reverse hero story, didn't pick up the nuance of that at all. It's you're yeah, there was some killing and that lady died, which was pretty crazy. So, all right, that was a movie. Cool. All right. Spielberg does it again, So it is it is interesting, try to figure out what exactly happened. I mean, would this be a movie that you recommend? And I guess, okay, we can actually take a step back because you mentioned performances in this movie. There were some good ones. There was nothing. I'll say this. There was no performance that took me out of it.
Yep.
So there was no the ceiling was, or the floor was pretty high in this. So everyone was holding their own really well, and there were some standouts. Like, I thought this is Daniel Craig before, after Road to Perdition, which we already watched, before Bond, right? Mm-hmm. So I would have experienced it. This is my introduction actually to Daniel Craig. Before I watched Road to Perdition, this is my introduction to this person who then became Bond. And he was extremely unlikable in this movie. Because, even still, he was clearly supposed to be the douchey guy who the whole time, when I watched it before, when I watched it again now, I was like, oh, he's going to totally sell, he's going to rat them out. I still don't know that he didn't, but he's he's the guy who is a little too gung-ho about this. And I think he does a real good job of being that, he in some ways is the sponge of oh, okay. He's the one you don't want to be. And it's clearly that Avner is not that, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know the word exactly that I'm trying to look for, but he's he takes the hate that could be going Avner's way. He's less complicated, right? He's just the less complicated person in here. Mm. And so you see in relation to him, Avner's clearly changing. He's just, I'm cool with killing. Let's celebrate killing terrorists, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think he does a good job of portraying that, and the movie kind of needed that.
That's interesting. I totally agree. I think if you had asked me, 10 minutes ago, I would have said, I don't think they needed that character. Because it was just man, what is this guy? But you're right. He's the backdrop to where Avner's character is more clear. And you're right. They do play off each other multiple times of Daniel Craig's oh, this is great. We're doing this. And Avner's well, we still have no evidence.
Yeah.
Well, we're still not sure. Which then you can see how that also breaks Avner. What did you think of the other character performances, casting in general for the movie?
Casting was good. Eric Bana, to focus on him. He's got he did a good job, but there's sometimes he just stare, he does too much staring. He's acting with his face. It's you kind of just staring, and I don't know that I you look confused a little bit in some situations, and maybe that's a good thing, but also I was kind of sometimes just stop staring, just a beat less on holding that look off into that the wall over there, but otherwise it's not enough to take me out of it, and I think he has a commanding enough presence to show this moral degradation. You could believe he could be a leader, and you could also believe that he would be having issues with what the heck is happening here.
What did you think of Geoffrey Rush?
Oh, he was great. He was exactly what he needed to be as the handler, who's just kind of all right, we're moving things forward. Don't worry about this. This is for your country. We're doing this for your country. He was morally, he was sure about everything he was doing, because he couldn't show any signs of not being sure to his, the person he was handling, and he just pushed it along. You don't have time to think when you're in his presence. He's just kind of
yep,
let's go. And so the fact that he was separated from Avner for a while and had to come back and try to
bring him back in
wasn't going to happen. So
I thought his supporting role was maybe one of the best ones in the film. I thought, pound for pound, minute for minute, he's such a good even from the introduction, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And like you have the prime minister, the president, and like
the
generals, and they're okay. You want to take this mission on, and he like looks back at some guy in the back who is like, I'm not important. And then they all like hug him and leave, and then he gets up and he's like, no, I'm the guy you're actually going to talk to.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you actually what's going on. Like from that moment on, it was like, oh, looking back on it, it was like, I could see where his character was the one who said, here's how this is going to go down.
Yeah.
You are all going to sit here. He's going to come in. I'm just going to be over there writing stuff that's going to be nonsense.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, he's sort of the one controlling the marionette for the Mossad.
Yeah. What do you think about the like French informants, the father and son duo? Necessary, not necessary.
Well, the dude was super French.
One of them was.
Which was, in a way, helpful. Because when there's a bunch of characters and you're like kind of trying to watch the movie quietly because the kids are still awake and not quite falling asleep, you don't always pick up on all the dialogues. You miss their names. It's like, oh, he's French, and I don't think he's working with the Israelis. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then his dad keeps talking about cheese. He's probably French too. So I mean, that part was like, kind of helpful. Like, all right, you have some French folks in Paris that are operating.
Love food, as all French people do.
Doing some stuff. You had some Israelis that kind of looked, varying degrees of Jewish. And then you had some Palestinians who looked, varying degrees of, Middle Eastern. Okay, I think I can keep track of all these different characters.
Yeah.
It was like kind of helpful. I didn't really know what to think of them.
Yeah.
At some point, I was hoping that like they would have been some kind of recognizable organization. That was probably the one thing that I thought was maybe the weakest out of the movie. And we didn't talk about this before, but like, they just kept like hand waving themselves. Like
they have the information, but
it felt like Avner was almost the writer saying like, now actually, who are you guys? And then the writer was responding back like, can't figure this out right now. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We're just dealing with information. You pay good money.
Yeah.
What else do you want? And it's like, I didn't understand what sort of organization they were to be.
Yeah, and the vagueness, what was the vagueness for? Because the movie leaned into the vagueness and was self-aware about the vagueness of it.
Like, brought it up like 2 or 3 or 4 times.
And so it was interesting that like Avner had a connection to him all because the father like brought him in and kind of like created this connection a little bit. Definitely very French. My question, there's a thought I had of when he's going to the house, like obviously super wealthy person, everything's taught and done in the context of extreme wealth. Like, there's so much of movies in the show don't tell that kind of relies on rich people to like move. I'm like, this is like a legitimate thought I have of like, well, because they could go and walk around the grounds and pick his fresh vegetables from his giant garden because he's rich and has a giant garden and his giant kitchen to come and do all this stuff, and then randomly Avner's just a cook and he's good at it and we don't know why, but he just kind of is. And like, but it's necessary to like have those story beats with rich people. Like you're just gonna have to have a movie with it. I feel like movies do that all the time, and it's like you kind of need rich people for storytelling a little bit.
Now, sure. I don't know if they would even necessarily be independently wealthy because they were taking $200,000 per name of information. So, in the span of, what was it? Maybe a couple years, they pulled in
cool mill in the 70s.
$1.5 million, $2 million.
Yeah, but
so
they were already. But they talked about being wealthy already, so it's like. They were getting.
They're just doing it. That's true. He did basically say we're doing it for the. He did basically say we're doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
We don't need the money.
We'll take it.
We are going to take your money. We don't need it. That's how rich people operate.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't need your money. I'm going to take all of your money. I don't need it.
What my larger point is that
Yeah, maybe I'm not following you.
in movies in general, like a lot of scenes take place around wealthy people because the storytelling benefits from wealthy people and the things they have moving the story forward. Like he's going out there connecting with this person because he lives on a compound and he can go and walk around his giant, compound, grounds to go do stuff like that. I feel like you start following it in movies. There's like in Mel Gibson in The Patriot, in the last one, giant grounds, like has all the ability to have all the things, has the connections and everything. Just kind of like how movies kind of rely on those situations, There's a fully fledged thought that I will continue to shoehorn into this podcast, whether or not, and you can continue to cut it out in post-processing until I get it right. Because that's how I operate. I don't know if you know this, but I'll bring the same things up until you're sick of them.
Which takes us to the point about the international game of soccer. And how it's good that we're not French or German or...
We'd have a World Cup, but we'd
Israeli
also be...
or Palestinian or Egyptian or... What are the other places?
But how stoked are you that football's almost back? We're like 6 weeks away.
Baby, we're so close.
I know we're trying not to go.
We're watching.
But from this, where we are sitting here, we're 6 weeks away from football happening.
We're getting news about, coaches looking at their phones and getting in crashes.
Yeah.
We're looking at news of what did the players wear when they walked into the facility. Yeah. He's got it. He's not. Definitely doesn't have it.
I mean, we got some dimes being thrown. Some people are looking explosive without pads,
Some people are looking good with a knee brace on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hope not.
Mm-hmm. I hope he's looking real good.
I mean, there's no reason to rush back.
Look, you listeners didn't hear what I heard, but that little sigh was everything I knew I needed for tonight. Okay. Well, tell me about the movie on a whole.
Yeah.
Would you recommend it for an 18-year-old? Would you recommend it for a 35-year-old dad?
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely recommend it. There is lots of more conversations you can have, not on this podcast, about this situation that are very interesting. And this movie honestly could be a jumping point into it, right?
Yeah.
This is just surface level on this conflict in general, which is crazy for a 2 hours and 30 minutes movie, but it's still the surface level touches all the history that goes into this conflict. So it's definitely something I would watch. Like I said, high floor. Like there's nothing about this movie that's going to take you out too much. Even if we're complaining, we're just two jokesters complaining because we can and we have mics.
I mean, it's like the dumb things that take me out is he's cooking a meal and then the power goes out and then the meal's cooked.
Did the power go out?
The power went out because they got candles. It's like, how do they cook?
Okay, we can't just can't do the candles.
As
like
someone who's lost power many times, it's hard to cook a meal.
In the 70s, they barely had any power, and so
no power.
Why'd the power go out? I thought it was just some.
So
I thought some bros around candles.
Your point is correct that we're just some big dumb idiots, and like the stuff we complain about is the nothing burgers of like, okay, that the details of that scene don't equate to a good or a bad movie, and do not actually make this a good or bad movie.
No,
the movie on the whole actually is a real solid movie.
Yeah.
And I think it has to be approached with a level of willingness to approach the tension of that conflict, the willingness to understand that, like, war and spy games are muddy, and honestly, kind of like where I really land is that, like, murder, vengeance, revenge is not good for human flourishing.
Yeah, if you're going to handle it in an honest way, which I do feel like they do, like, you're trying to add some humanity to it. The revenge aspect is not going to lead to what you want. Like, these killings did not actually stop any bloodshed down the line. Like, maybe from this person, but there's no way to know that a worse person didn't come behind it. And it's just, this cycle does not yield what the high ideals that, like, Jeffrey Rush was trying to, portray at the beginning. Israelis have to show strength, and this is what's going to keep us safe in the future. It's like,
well,
I don't think that happened. And the movie doesn't seem to even try to claim that did happen, but that sure is a justification for kicking this whole thing off.
Yep. Okay. That's been What's in the DVD Box podcast. I'm Jonathan.
I'm David.
Thanks for listening.